You can eat stuffed mushrooms anytime, but they're especially good for bringing to parties and gatherings. Stuffed mushrooms are a fancy finger food that people generally don't eat very often and almost always appreciate. They're typically stuffed with cream cheese or breadcrumbs, but we're going to make a much healthier version that's stuffed with a delicious sun-dried tomato pâté. This pâté is wonderfully seasoned and makes just about the ideal complement for mushrooms. So the first step is to make the pâté. I'm going to be using a food processor. The mixture is a little bit too thick for a blender. These sunflower seeds have been soaked in water for 8 to 12 hours or overnight. Soaking them makes them easier to digest and also easier to process to a moist, fluffy consistency, which is what we're looking for. So we'll add those to the processor. Next, we're going to add some sun-dried tomatoes. You can purchase sun-dried tomatoes dry and then soak them in water for 2 hours before using them. Or you can buy them packed in olive oil and then drain off some of the extra oil. That's what I'm going to do. The sun-dried tomatoes are going to add a beautiful red color and an Italian flavor to this pâté. Next, I'll add just a little bit of water so I can process it smoothly. I'll also add a little bit of lemon juice, some crushed garlic, a pinch of salt, and a dash of cayenne pepper for some kick. And we'll go ahead and process that. Sometimes when you're processing, you need to stop and scrape down the sides of the processor with a spatula. That looks great. It's nice and smooth. Now I'm going to add a little bit of minced, finely chopped parsley and also some minced onion. And I'm just going to pulse those in so we can still see some texture. That looks great. It smells really good. This pâté will keep for 5 days in the refrigerator. And there's so many ways to serve it. You could put a scoop on top of a salad. You could use it as a dip or a spread. You could stuff it into a red bell pepper half or a romaine leaf for a main dish. So now we'll move on to making the stuffed mushrooms. I'm going to be using cremini mushrooms. Cremini mushrooms are baby portobellos. You could also use one large portobello mushroom to make a main dish out of this. Mushrooms have such an earthy, savory flavor. And cooking does enhance their flavor, but so does marinating. So that's what we're going to do. So the first step is to clean the mushrooms. To clean them, I just wipe them down with a damp paper towel. You don't want to run them under water because that makes mushrooms too soggy and then they don't absorb the marinade. And then after I wipe them down, I remove the stem and a little bit of the inside using a measuring spoon, and that just gives us a cavity to stuff with pâté. The next step is to marinate the mushrooms. I'm going to toss them in a little bit of tamari. Tamari is a wheat-free soy sauce. Just toss those. You want to marinate them for anywhere between 5 and 30 minutes. And if you don't have time, even just a couple of minutes is okay. The longer you marinate them, the more that tamari is going to penetrate the mushrooms. And then afterwards, you just drain off the excess tamari and pat the mushrooms dry. We have a few mushrooms that have already been marinated. So now I'm going to fill them with pâté. Just transfer those to a serving plate. I'll garnish them with a little bit of additional minced parsley. And for easy eating, I'll just put a toothpick in each one. These savory bites are perfect as a party hors d'oeuvre, but they're so good you'll want to be sure to make extra so you have some to snack on when the party's over.